Texas, please welcome Ramon Dinamita Cardenas.
When I didn't know when I was gonna get here. I never knew that. No one knows that. Only God knows.
Naoya Inoue is stepping back into the ring, and this time it's in Las Vegas. The undefeated, undisputed, unstoppable monster is putting everything on the line. But his opponent? Ramon Cardenas, a name you probably didn't expect, and that's exactly what makes this fight so dangerous. You see, Inoue doesn't just beat fighters, he breaks them. With lightning-fast hands and bone-crushing power, he's torn through champions like they were amateurs. But Cardenas? He said yes without a second thought. No hesitation, no fear. Why? What does he see that the world doesn't? Is this blind courage or something more terrifying? This fight is more than just a title defense. It's a potential ambush, a high-stakes game of survival where one mistake could change everything. And trust me, once that bell rings, it's going to get violent. Stay locked in because we're breaking down every angle and revealing why this might just be the most shocking fight of Inoue's career. Don't blink. This is the calm before the storm. Let's start with the man everyone's watching. Naoya Inoue, 29 wins, 0 losses, 26 of those wins by knockout. That knockout ratio? Terrifying. But what's more terrifying is how he knocks people out. Inoue doesn't rely on wild brawling or reckless aggression. He's a scientific assassin. Every punch has purpose. Every move is calculated. And when he strikes, it's lights out. Inoue's style is built around surgical destruction. He's a pressure fighter, but not in the traditional sense. He doesn't just march forward blindly. He cuts the ring off like a lion circling its prey, forcing opponents exactly where he wants them. And once they're cornered, that's when the carnage begins. Left hooks to the liver, right hands over the top, jabs that slice through guards like scalpels. His timing is unreal. He knows exactly when to strike, often landing clean while his opponents are still winding up their shots. But what truly separates Inoue from other punchers is his ability to maintain composure and fight with patience. We saw it against Nonito Donaire. We saw it when he dismantled Stephen Fulton, who many thought would be his toughest test at super bantamweight. Inoue walked through him, made him look average. And let's talk defense. He's fighting in the US for the first time since 2021. He's already cleaned out bantamweight. Now he's ruling super bantam. And if he wins this fight, rumors are swirling about a Tokyo mega showdown against Murodjon Akhmadaliev. But make no mistake, Inoue can't afford to look past Ramon Cardenas, because every king gets tested eventually. Now here's where things get interesting. Ramon Cardenas, 22 wins, just 1 loss, and a reputation that's quietly been building in the shadows. He's not a mainstream name, yet, but boxing fans who pay attention know this kid can fight. He's slick, intelligent, and most importantly, he's fearless. Cardenas isn't walking into this fight as a stepping stone. He's coming in with bad intentions. What makes him dangerous is that he's hard to read. He doesn't fight with one rhythm. He switches tempo mid-round. Sometimes he boxes from the outside with sharp counters. Other times, he slips inside and digs to the body with surprising pop. His last few performances have shown a fighter with serious ring IQ, someone who doesn't just react but sets traps. He has a good jab, solid footwork, and, unlike many Inoue opponents, he doesn't freeze up under pressure. That's going to be critical, because once Inoue turns up the heat, most fighters panic. They forget their game plan. They start swinging wildly or just cover up. If Cardenas can stay composed, if he can take the shots early and respond with calculated counters, we could be in for a real fight. Cardenas also brings a chip on his shoulder. No one is picking him to win. Not the media, not the fans, not even Vegas. He knows the odds, and that makes him incredibly dangerous. He's coming in with nothing to lose and everything to gain. Think about it. If he beats Inoue, he instantly becomes the biggest name in boxing. One night, one shot. That's all it takes. He's never faced anyone like Inoue. But Inoue's also never faced someone as unpredictable and mentally loose as Cardenas. Sometimes that's the scariest kind of fighter, the one who isn't supposed to win and knows it. So here we are. On one side, a surgical killer with a track record of destruction. On the other, a dark horse with speed, brains, and ice in his veins. This isn't just another title defense. It's a test of styles. Inoue might be the monster, but Cardenas? He might just be the one crazy enough to walk into the monster's den and throw the first punch. Now that we've laid out the full arsenal of both Naoya Inoue and Ramon Cardenas, it's time to break this down at the core. Style versus style, strength versus weakness, mindset versus reality. This isn't just about who hits harder or who's undefeated. This is about who breaks first when the heat is on. Let's get into it. Let's start with the elephant in the room, Inoue's pressure. This isn't the pressure of a wild slugger. It's methodical. He forces fighters to the ropes without throwing a punch. How? Through intelligent foot positioning, constant feints, and that sense of danger you feel just from his presence. Most opponents lose before they even get hit. Cardenas is going to have to do what very few have been able to, disrupt that rhythm. He can't just circle away all night. That's to eventually find the shot. So the only real answer is this. Ramon has to punch with Inoue, not after, not before, with him. He has to be comfortable in the fire, slipping shots, and firing counters in the middle of the chaos. If Cardenas can catch Inoue in between combinations, even once, it changes the narrative. But here's the gamble. If he's even half a beat late, it's good night. Now let's talk about one of Inoue's deadliest weapons, his body shots. We're talking world-class, career-shortening liver hooks. Ask Jason Maloney, ask Emmanuel Rodriguez, ask Nonito Donaire twice. Inoue doesn't just aim for the head. He takes your legs away. He makes you question every breath. And this is where we'll see what Cardenas is really made of. Against past opponents, he's shown a high guard and decent lateral movement, but he leaves his body exposed during transitions. That's where Inoue is a predator. If Ramon gives him even a few seconds to work downstairs, the second half of this fight won't matter. Cardenas must protect his torso. He has to use angles, not just movement. Staying on the ropes, even for 10 seconds, would be like signing a surrender letter in blood. Let's get real. Inoue's power is different. He's not just knocking guys out, he's folding them. Punch for punch, he hits like a man in a higher weight class. This makes every second of every round a threat. Fighters can win a minute, 2 minutes, then boom, one shot changes everything. Cardenas doesn't have that kind of raw power, but that's not a death sentence. Remember, Inoue can be touched. Nonito Donaire stunned him with a right hand in their first fight. Inoue had to grit through a broken orbital bone to survive. That showed us he's human. If Cardenas can find his timing, and that's a big if, he doesn't need to one-punch KO Inoue. He needs to disrupt him, win rounds, frustrate the champ, steal the rhythm. But that comes down to poise. Most fighters fall apart mentally before they can even execute that plan. Let's not forget, Inoue has gone deep into fights. He went 12 hard rounds with Donaire in a Fight of the Year battle. He didn't fade, he didn't panic, he adjusted and finished strong. Cardenas has never been in that kind of war. His stamina has looked solid, but he's never had to dig into the trenches with a guy who applies this kind of pressure for every second of every round, and that matters. By round 5 or 6, we'll know if Ramon has the tank to keep moving, countering, and thinking under fire. Because once fatigue sets in, Inoue smells blood, and history tells us that when Inoue smells blood, he finishes. Let's talk psychology. Inoue is ice cold. He doesn't show emotion. He doesn't talk trash. He lets his fists do the talking, and they scream louder than words ever could. He doesn't chase knockouts. He stalks them. Cardenas, on the other hand, is stepping into the biggest moment of his life, and that pressure, it can crush you, but it can also forge something dangerous. Cardenas knows this is his one shot to shock the world, and fighters with nothing to lose, they're often the hardest to predict. He has to use that mindset as a weapon, channel that energy into calculated aggression, not desperation. If he comes in thinking he's just happy to be here, it'll be over by round 4. But if he comes in with intent, real intent to dethrone the monster, then we might be in for something special. We need to look at the scars and triumphs that have molded them. Their previous fights aren't just records, they're roadmaps. And when we follow those roads, they lead us to one conclusion. This fight might not go the distance. Let's begin with the undefeated monster himself. Naoya Inoue's career is a highlight reel of clinical destruction. His resume isn't padded, it's loaded with world champions, unified title fights, and pound-for-pound moments. Inoue versus Nonito Donaire. This was the war that proved Inoue wasn't just a technician, he was a warrior. Against a prime, rejuvenated Nonito Donaire, Inoue faced real adversity for the first time. Donaire landed a massive right hand that fractured Inoue's orbital bone. Blood streamed down Inoue's face, vision compromised, but he never panicked. Instead, he adjusted. What followed was pure grit and heart. Inoue absorbed power shots, traded fire, and still managed to drop Donaire with a liver shot so vicious it paralyzed him mid-motion. Inoue won by unanimous decision, but more importantly, he proved he could go to war and come out smarter, stronger, and still dangerous. When the tempo spikes, when the air feels like fire, can he stay composed? Let's put it all together. Inoue is not the type of fighter who coasts to decisions. He doesn't allow fights to drift. Once he smells blood, he closes the show. And based on what we've seen, his power carries into later rounds. He stopped elite opponents in rounds 2, 6, 8, and 11. He doesn't fade, he finishes. Cardenas, on the other hand, has the tools to cause problems, but not the proven history of surviving under elite fire. If he can keep the fight at his range, frustrate Inoue with movement, and force a slower pace, he has a shot to drag it late. But that's a razor-thin path. The most likely scenario, this ends early. Whether it's a liver shot that folds Cardenas, or a perfectly timed counter that shuts the lights off, if you're loving this breakdown and want more high-stakes, expert-level boxing content, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and drop your prediction in the comments. Does Inoue dominate, or does Cardenas shock the world?